The command cracked through the emergency room like a whip. "Lower your voice, or I'll escort you out." Elias Ward's jaw locked so tight he heard the grind in his skull. His arms tightened around his mother's frail body, her head slumping against his shoulder, lips already tinted blue. Every breath rattled, shallow, fragile. Time wasn't measured in minutes anymore. It was slipping away in seconds. "She's dying," Elias said, voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. "And you're standing in my way." The guard, stocky, hand hovering near his belt, took a deliberate step closer. Behind him, the triage nurse, Dana, sat unmoved, arms folded, face indifferent. Her name tag gleamed under the sterile lights. "I need oxygen now," Elias demanded, shifting Claire's weight. Years of trauma cases had trained his eye. She was moments from collapse. Dana leaned back, bored. "Sir, there are other patients ahead of you." Elias's eyes snapped to the doors. A white couple walked in with coffee cups and a whining child. Dana rose at once, her voice warming like a switch flip. "Come this way." She ushered them through the double doors without a flicker of hesitation, but a muscle ticked in Elias's cheek. 20 years of surgical composure threatened to fracture. He had lived in operating rooms where one slip meant death, but this was worse. Here, sworn healers watched his mother fade because they had decided she didn't belong. Clara's body convulsed, head snapping back, eyes rolling. Elias's voice thundered across the lobby. "Crash cart, now!" No one moved. Rain hammered the glass doors behind him, a frantic drumbeat of seconds bleeding out. Someone nearby raised a phone, recording. Elias didn't see it. His focus narrowed to his mother's ashen face, chest barely rising. He bent to her ear, whispering, "Stay with me, Mom. I've got you." But he knew, if anyone was going to save her, it would not be them. Elias Ward had built his life on precision. At 40, he wasn't just a neurosurgeon. He was one of the East Coast's most sought-after specialists. His name filled medical journals, policy panels, conferences. 10 days ago, he had been quietly voted chairman of Fairlawn General Hospital's board. No one knew. He wanted to see the hospital unfiltered. Tonight, its truth was bleeding out in his arms. Clara Ward had given 30 years to nursing. She'd skipped meals, pulled doubles, kept patients fed when budgets ran dry. She knew every corridor of Fairlawn General. She had seen its rise, but also its cracks. Patients left waiting because of insurance, accents slowing the pace of care, color of skin dictating urgency. Elias had sworn to honor her life's work. He funded new equipment, advocated reforms, believed change could grow from within. Yet here, in the gleaming lobby he'd helped modernize, his mother's life was reduced to an afterthought. Her oxygen saturation, her neurological response, her heart rate, all plummeting. In a trauma bay, she'd already be ventilated. Here she was just a body in a chair, her son's pleas treated as noise. "The procedure," he snarled, fury barely contained, "is to save her life." He tried to sidestep Craig, the guard, but the man mirrored him. Then Clara seized violently, foam flecking her lips. Every alarm in Elias's medical training screamed at once. "Code blue," he barked. The words ricocheted off the marble. In NER, those two words triggered a sprint of activity. Here, no one moved. A woman whispered, "Is she okay?" Phones recorded. Elias dropped to his knees, opening Clara's airway with one hand, bracing her shoulders with the other. "Back up," he ordered. Craig didn't flinch. "Don't make me call the police." "Call whoever you want," Elias snapped. "But if she dies, that's on you." Moments later, the fear crystallized. Clara's body went slack. The pulse beneath his fingers thinned, then vanished. For a breath, Elias froze, disbelief and rage colliding inside him. He lowered her carefully onto the vinyl chair, smoothing back strands of silver hair. Then he stood. The room shrank into silence. Dana avoided his eyes. Craig shifted, uneasy but still blocking the way. Elias looked one last time at his mother, memorizing every line of her face. His voice, when it came, was lethal in its steadiness. "You just made the last mistake you'll ever make in this hospital." He turned, walked through the glass doors, and vanished into the storm thumpy-wide dawn. Fairlawn General's boardroom was packed. Executives, department heads, and, by Elias's order, every staff member on duty the night before sat under cold, sterile light. Conversations choked off when Elias entered. No lab coat, only a tailored charcoal suit and the gaze of a man with nothing left to lose. Recognition rippled slowly. Some saw it once. Others pieced it together. The desperate man from the ER lobby, now at the head of the table, he didn't open with condolences. He didn't waste words. Point one keystroke. The wall-size screen lit with security footage. High definition. Time-stamped. Dana, arms folded, unmoving. Craig, blocking the doors. Clara, convulsing, captured in merciless clarity. Gasps rippled through the room. Someone whispered, "My God." Elias let the silence stretch, the images looping behind him, each second an indictment. The audio was damning. The nurse's sharp, "Wait your turn," the guard's threat to escort you out, underscored by the rasp of a dying breath. "Last night," Elias began, his voice steady, "my mother died on the floor of the hospital I chair. Not because of limited resources, but because you decided she wasn't worth saving." He faced Dana. "You're terminated." To Craig, "Your contract is revoked. Your license will be reviewed." His gaze swept the table. The ER shift lead and compliance officer gone. No one spoke. Elias slid a folder across the table. 17 cases in 24 months where patients of color were delayed or denied care. 8 resulted in death. These aren't numbers, they're indictments. Every file has been sent to the Department of Justice for investigation. Shock rippled through the room. "This isn't PR," Elias pressed. "It's systemic failure with a body count. We'll rebuild triage. Bias training is worthless without oversight. Intake will be monitored, audited, enforced." A board member hesitated. "Elias, going public could save lives." Elias cut in. "That's the point. This hospital will either become the model of equity or collapse under its negligence. The quiet days of discrimination are finished." He leaned forward, palms flat. "They watched my mother die, and still I'm here. Imagine what I'll do for those who can't be." Silence trailed him from the room. By the time he reached his office, emails had already gone out. Suspensions, compliance reviews, notice of a federal audit. The storm had arrived, not in the sky, but in the bloodstream of Fairlawn General Point 3 weeks later. The same glass doors that had framed Clara Ward's last moments reflected something new, a bronze plaque cut deep into stone. The Clara Ward Protocol. Every second matters. Elias stood before it, rain streaking his coat, his reflection fractured across the surface. Inside, a triage advocate staffed intake. Not a clerk, but a clinician with authority to override delays. The rule was simple. Every critical patient received oxygen and vitals assessment within 60 seconds. No questions about insurance, status, or skin color. Through the glass, Elias watched it work. An elderly Latino man, lips blue, was rushed in. Before his chair stopped, an oxygen mask was fitted, vitals taken, monitors clipped. No paperwork, no hesitation. His life was the only priority. Elias exhaled, the knot in his chest easing. Justice for Clara wouldn't come in court, but in prevention. Upstairs, her photo now presided over every board decision. Her smile lines a reminder of urgency and compassion. Elias pressed his hand to the plaque. "They'll remember you, Mom." Then he walked through the doors, not as a grieving son, but as keeper of a promise. The protocol would spread. Intent didn't save lives. Action did.